Welcome to 221B Baker Street. Today we will be talking about the exciting case, The Many Mouths of Andrew Colville. I am the illustrious detective Sherlock Holmes. Actually, I am your host Zachary here, but I like both names. And with me is my new partner in crime, at least temporarily. Introduce yourself, Rob.
Well, I think you just introduced me. Hi, everybody. I'm Rob Southgate. I am so happy to be here. And yeah, it's for now we're saying temporary, but it's at least through this season. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
And at least one episode of Sherlock, too.
At least one, yeah.
And we might talk...
Yeah, actually, Zach, I was having a thought about that. We might as well throw this out there. You know, with Sherlock, you and Jack did the first 2 episodes, I believe, of season 3, right?
Yep.
I think it might be fun over the summer during the hiatus to go back and just do the other 6 episodes from the first 2 seasons.
I'd be down with that.
I think it'd be fun, and I think that it might add an interesting perspective going into the next season of Elementary.
And it depends how many how many summertime shows I'm doing, because there's at least 2 you were talking about me maybe doing.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I think that would be fun. It would be just something we could, because it wouldn't be weekly, and maybe bi-weekly we could do that, and that would give us something to do over the summer, and for our fans to latch on to, because we do have a lot of people writing in and
wait a minute, we got fans?
We have fans.
Well, why
I don't know if I have fans, but
are they writing to us, Rob?
I said I don't know if I have fans, but I know that the show has some fans. So
why aren't they writing to us? We have an email. Do they not like us?
Lay it out there, Zach. What's the email?
The email is bakerstreetpodcast@gmail.com, and of course Baker Street Pod on Twitter and Baker Street Podcast on Facebook. People, I feel so alone. Why am I just sitting here in Baker Street alone? Write me a letter.
Well, I will say for people that are Twitter people, I have been active on Twitter the last couple of days since I have stepped into this role here. And I've been tweeting out some, and we are going to start trying to live tweet when we can during shows. Another thing that I was thinking might be fun to do is at some point over the summer, maybe we'll do a listening party. I don't know if you've ever been involved in one of those, but basically what you do is we pick like 4 of our favorite episodes, and we pick a time and we live tweet during those shows, and fans can then tweet in with us and kind of share in the experience and everything. We're not doing a podcast during it. It's just tweeting and having fun with that. Maybe a little social media action, maybe some Instagrams and that.
Sounds and we're doing some exciting things too. Like it kind of sounds like what me and, well, we'll talk about live stuff. Me and Dawn have been talking about when Sleepy Hollow comes back, doing a live recording.
Yeah, actually, you're talking to the right guy. You're talking to one of the co-owners of the business. That's something that Martha and I have been talking about, actually, is there is a way that we can do some live podcasts. And we were thinking that might be fun to turn that whole thing on for season wrap-ups and season intros and things like that. So that is on, that's super secret probation. Nobody's hearing about that, right? That's all between us, you, me, and the listeners, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm not telling Jack. How's that?
Okay. And
so should we jump in, or
do
you want to talk more business?
Well, first thing I think, if the fans were as we know, Jack had a moniker. So if you'd like to choose a moniker for Rob, be it Mike Ross, Lestrade, or even Moriarty, write in.
Yeah, I got a moniker for you, Zach. Let's get started. I'm kidding. Let's get started. On this
these people could see the mess. Oh, this episode was okay. The phrase, I'm making up a phrase for this: disconnected connections.
You know what? Very true. This was all over the place, but it was great.
I mean, right from the beginning, we have a bite mark that leads to another case, but the bite mark here has nothing to do with the rest of this scene. Has nothing.
And it wasn't even a murder. That was what was so great.
It was an idiot suicide, essentially.
It was an idiot suicide. I gotta say, this episode. Now, I told you, my experience with Elementary is fairly limited. I've watched at this point probably 8 episodes. A couple of key ones, like the Moriarty reveal and that. I've seen those. And this was very different than any of those that I've seen. But boy, it kept you guessing. You didn't know what was going on.
I had to rewatch it 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah. And I'm a Sherlock Holmes fanatic, and I have to rewatch it. Although I love it when he picks up the pen, I just go, "Oh, I know what he's going to do it. He's going to do it." I'm like, I know what he's going to do with the pen, and I'm like, "Yes, he did it."
Yeah, right. So yeah, I loved that whole scene when the first of all the guy, the mortician slipped. He slipped, right? Or no, he gassed himself or something, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, he essentially gave him.
And when he
It was like acid, getting hit with acid. Apparently, that's what. They,
oh, that's what it was. And then when he fell over, the corpse bit him. That was too much, man.
I'm surprised there wasn't a zombie joke somewhere in there.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
No,
We'll probably have some more of that.
I know this is like a nitpick but I'm pretty sure. I mean, of course, I'm not an expert on law, but I'm pretty sure since the robber was still hiding, I think and he hasn't escaped yet. I think the best they could charge him was with like breaking and entering because he could still say, "Oh, I was going to put him back." A good one.
I'm sure because what else was there? It was just. Well, no, he could be charged with burglary because he was, if he had something on him.
I think a lawyer could like do like, hey, plea it down. It's like we're doing Law and Order, but I think.
Yeah, in the second half of the show, we're going to actually take this to trial.
Yeah. I'll be like, Your Honor, my client was poked with a needle. What the hell?
Right. You know what? Thank goodness this doesn't get into that boring stuff. Unless it was Phoenix Wright. I'd be down if it was a Phoenix Wright case.
Whenever I think of Phoenix Wright, I think of this awesome thing where they take the old boot to the head comedy skit and use Phoenix Wright animation.
Shut up. Where is that?
You never
on YouTube?
I'll send it to you. Again, we're going off topic.
No, I love that. The boot to the head, for people that don't know, that was from
The Frantics.
The Frantics, yeah.
I don't like the original version. I think it's
really?
I think it's too slow. The Phoenix Wright version's much quicker.
Oh, because the first one's the only one I've heard, and man, that is a funny song. I thought it was great. But now that I know there's a Phoenix Wright one, I am down with it. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Really? Down with it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm an old man. Back off. That was boss of me to say. See, I'm throwing out the old terms.
I will accept boss. Boss from you is acceptable.
So
Cowabunga.
We had the other detective there.
Yes.
And she was there because this bite thing was reminiscent of these old cases. And I thought it was really interesting. Oh, wet was the stuff he was using that caused
it was formaldehyde, and actually it was pot, but I think it was mixed with formaldehyde, and apparently it's pretty much just the same as hitting acid, like the effect.
Right, and they called it wet. Yeah, that's what it was. And so this woman is there, and she's saying, she's investigating it, and then as soon as, Sherlock figures out, okay, it was the corpse that bit him, and it has nothing to do with it, she's out of there. She's like, yep, nope.
But then Watson realizes it's connected to something from her past, and then we go to an actor who I'm pretty sure always plays a dick. Look at his body work. He's always a jerk in the roles he plays.
You know what? I gotta say, it's funny because a lot of people when they get into acting, like they got their thing. Like, man, I always want to be the funny guy, or I always want to be the badass action guy. There is a niche that a guy like this fills, which is just the jerk. And you see him in everything, and they're always this like, I don't know if it's a vibe they have or a look they have. I look at this guy and immediately think, yeah, he's going to be the jerk in this thing. And he was a total jerk.
Now, not necessarily a villain, but he is a jerk.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I can't think. There's a couple other actors that, when you see them in things, oh God, I'm going to get this one wrong. Did you ever watch Prison Break?
I never got into it, but I probably know the actor.
Well, you will know the actor when I say his name. I'll see if I can find it while we're talking. But he's an actor that if you say his name, I know who it is immediately. So right now it's just kind of eluding me here. But this guy is typically a jerk in everything he's in. And on this show, he was a jerk. But as the show evolved, he became like one of your favorite characters, if not your favorite character. And man, I cannot find it. I wish I would like to talk about Prison Break for a half hour, but we're not going to do that. Oh, it's William Fitcher. You know who William Fitcher is, right?
He plays a villain so good. He plays Psycho so good.
Oh, yeah, and he was in like Armageddon and Dark Knight and Black Hawk Down. And it's like, the thing is, I loved him on Prison Break. I love him in everything he's in. But he's got something about him that makes you
He's got that crazy look in his eyes.
It's something.
Wait, we talking about the guy that was oh man,
William Fitcher.
I think it's
Are you looking him up right now?
God, did I get him mixed up with a different actor? But yeah, he is a great character. Oh my God,
great character actor.
Oh my God,
excellent.
I was getting him mixed up with someone else, but he is amazing.
Yeah, but you're not going to find him playing, the big softy, the big sweet.
He's the Shredder.
Yes!
He's
That's what he's in. He's in the new Ninja Turtle movie. He's Shredder.
No offense to William Fitcher, but he's not Japanese.
You know what? No offense to people that think that movie's going to be fantastic, but
It's not.
it's not. Although, you know what? Every time I see the previews, I'm always like,
Okay,
yeah,
you know what he was great
totally
in?
getting my money, but
He was great in Drive Angry.
I didn't see that one. Was that good?
It was, you know what's funny about that movie? It's what Ghost Rider should have been.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
All right. So you know I'm going to be watching that one. Yeah, you know what? You want some good William Fichtner, though. Check out Prison Break. The last season is bizarre. I'll tell you that right now. Because by the time you get to the last season, it's like, wait a minute. Like, they've already done everything they're going to do, and now they've got, like, this whole other thing they do.
No, that's why I never watched it. I could, like, foresee that coming. I'm like, they're going to lose their butt.
No,
like,
you know what's really terrible, though, is that last season kind of sets up a whole new trajectory. And really, when we watched it, we marathoned it last year. When it got to that point, we were like, wow, I can actually see this going further. And Martha and I did a podcast about Under the Dome, and we did one about 0 Hour. And Agatha Warren is a producer on both of those. She was a producer on Prison Break. So we got to interview her, and we talked Prison Break the whole time, okay? And because we love it, right? And she was actually implying that, yeah, what you saw when that got canceled, that was really like they had a whole other trajectory for this show. Because, you know, my point was, you know, after one season, hopefully they've broken out of the prison, you know? Yeah. And then what does the show do? And she's like, yeah, no, that was, when you look at what the story was, it goes way past that.
Oh, and the actor I was confusing William Fichtner with was Robert Knepper.
Robert who?
I never pronounce his last name. He's also in Prison Break. Who was he? He was, come on, where is it? He was.
Oh, T-Bag?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that guy.
Now, talk about, he's always the crazy guy.
Yeah, talk about a fantastic actor.
Oh God!
My God!
Did you see him in Black? But let's see. Okay, we're
wait. No, I got one more thing about that. As long as we're talking about him, because on Tour de Cons, which is another one of our podcasts, we just had Lilith Hellfire on. She went to the Louisville Comic Con, and what we do on that show is we just talk about the different cons, be it comic book, pop culture. We're doing an anime one coming up, a video game convention. Well, she was on one about the Louisville Wizard World comic book convention. And we ended up getting into this Prison Break talk, and she told us, she's a huge Arrow fan. She does an Arrow podcast for another network. She mentioned that William Knepper is on Arrow.
Yeah, he was the Clock King.
He's the Clock King. Okay, I never watched Arrow either. It makes it sound like I don't watch anything. That is so untrue. I watch more.
That's why you have us.
Is humanly possible. So we started a podcasting network, so the shows that we don't have time for, we can have podcasts about. So I haven't seen Arrow until recently. I watched the first 2 episodes, loved them. Lilith is pressuring me. And she really got me when she said, you know, he's playing, you know, the Clock King. Oh my gosh. I am so in with that. So now I have gone off track. I will come right back now. Let's talk.
I think the viewers should know that Rob is actually the man in charge of Southgate Media, so when I have to rein him back in, you know that's bad.
No, it's nonstop. You know, and I'd also like to point out that they're not viewers unless they're looking at a picture of us. They are listeners.
Hey, they could.
Hey.
No. When you look at podcasts, there is the image. For all you know, they're looking at. They could be looking at.
Oh, true.
Or they could be looking at a picture of me just going, ooh.
What, like a whimper?
No, more like a lovelorn, like, ah.
That's your lovelorn? Oh, that's the worst.
Okay, how about, I don't know. I'm not, okay, you do one. Okay, back to the show. Now, of course, we go back in time. And you know how we know time has changed? Because Watson's hair is different.
How about that hair?
Okay, I want to do a time change where everyone looks exactly the same, because I look pretty similar to the way I looked maybe not 9 years ago, obviously, but still, it's like just because my hair was different, time has changed. I'm just surprised they didn't have a reference to, like blatantly obvious. Hey, did you see this current event?
Yeah, right. Yeah, like Back in Time. Hey, Back to the Future just came out. You know when they do that kind of a thing?
Oh, God, yeah.
I can't wait to watch the Seinfeld finale tonight.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Who's president? Who's president? George Bush? George Bush, the moron?
Right. So that was a pretty big revelation, though, that kept unfolding throughout the thing was, did he kill Colville Did that doctor kill Colville on purpose, by allowing him to die, or did he really not know? And I thought that whole thing, like, it was still weighing on Watts. It's something that was adding to her story. It was evolving the story, through her eyes and through this incident that got sparked by the idiot suicide in the mortuary. I thought that whole thing was really good. Unlike, last episode we were talking about Belle's storyline and how it didn't really do anything. This one not only tied into the story, but I thought that it really gave us insight and moved things forward.
And no, it's funny. The first time I watched it, I almost missed the fact that I think that the cop said that there were other cases. When I first watched it, I thought she was saying that the bite there was making her think the case, but there were 2 other cases.
Right. Me too. I actually thought that same thing. I figured it out as the thing was going on, but I did have that same kind of, like, what is it about this bite and why is it sparking this? But it was really the past that had come up on it.
Right.
So one thing that I also enjoyed was Holmes when he wanted Watson to go on the treasure hunt.
Oh God! And I tweeted, we better be seeing that episode.
I so wanted that, and you know what that reminded me of was, I don't know if you're an X-Files fan, but
I'm a bit of
X-Files. Okay, there's an X-Files episode where it's called, I think, the Detour. And it's one where Mulder and Scully are going to a training session, and they're with 2 other agents. And some weird crap happens, and they stop, and aliens and his sister, and there's a guy smoking a cigarette. It's the X-Files. But it was a total diversion from a normal story. They were in a car, they were going to a training thing, they're like kind of off guard and kind of goofing around, and they're going to this thing. Well, when he said that about the treasure hunt, it completely lit that up in my mind. So any elementary writers out there, we would love to see an episode where Holmes does get to take her on a treasure hunt and something can happen there.
Grimm, when Grimm went on hiatus, they did webisodes. They could totally do webisodes here.
Oh, a webisode of the treasure hunt would be awesome.
What's interesting about the treasure hunt is, you remember, it was Mike, I think it was connected to Mike, or was it just a friend? Oh, well, I thought he said something about someone connected to Mycroft, or
yeah, there was something there, but you know what? I don't know what it was.
Okay, no,
but he did say something about Mycroft. Yeah. I think Mycroft had won this before, or Mycroft wanted him to do it, and he didn't want to do it with him. Or
right.
There was something like
that.
Now,
something Rob about with the listeners, of course, now is that Mycroft, we found out a few episodes ago, is trying to get Holmes out of New York. We don't know why. But I think this is a little.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay,
yeah, he's trying to get Watson. He even pretended that his father was going to cut his funding to get out, and Holmes was going to stay. But for some reason, Mycroft is working with and that sounds like something Mycroft would just start up just to get Holmes' attention.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe we'll see something with that in a future episode. I mean, there's no reason that couldn't have been a little.
Look how excited Holmes is. He's like, no, you understand, treasure hunt.
Yeah, like, ooh, this is really cool. This will be fun. Yeah, and you know what? As a viewer, it totally had that effect on me. I don't know. I thought that would be really cool.
But of course, Watson brings him back. She's like, she wants to get him involved in his. I just love how excited Holmes is. For listeners who know me, I like to watch the episode as we're podcasting. His expressions of happiness, and he's just like, treasure hunt, woo!
Right. So then, this was another thing I thought was great. Now, let me know if I'm wrong here, but was he trying to call the Baker Street Irregulars when he went out on the street and he had the sign?
No.
What is that? Because that reminded me of the Baker Street Irregulars.
It's a throwback to another episode. Also, okay. I suppose they could be considered a form of the Irregulars. They had an episode.
Do they have the Irregulars on this?
Sort of.
Okay.
But I think they haven't had them directly because Sherlock had, and they try to distance themselves from that show. But what this is, it's essentially, there was an episode where they had a group of, it was essentially anonymous, but they called them everyone.
Oh, okay.
It's a cyber community.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
So that was his code to hold up the sign, help me catch a murderer by punching me in the arm?
Well, I think you missed it. What he did was he asked them for help first, and they said, that's what you have to do to get our help.
Right. Yeah, I did catch that.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was something, if he had to do something similar in a past episode. I thought that was pretty funny, though. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love the part when he's doing that, and the kid touches him, and he goes to kick the kid, the one.
Right.
And I think they said he was there 2 hours or even 4 or something like that.
Yeah, Yeah, I think he was getting a little tired of getting punched, too. But that was really good. And then the guy comes back up with his two buddies. And he's like,
and it turns out he's one of them.
He's like, you don't get another shot. He's like, no, I got my buddies here. They get their turns. If I saw him standing there, I'd still want to punch him.
Yeah, I'd let you do it first to make sure it wasn't a trick.
Right. Thanks, Zach. Way to have my back. So
I do have your back. That's why I'm behind you when you go first.
All right. Of course, that's where I am, behind you. So the dentures, the old case, it turned out that those dentures were from a prison, and they were taken off of a prisoner, and that there were, what did they say, 8 different prisoners that had those teeth?
Something like that.
And once again, just as you said, a lot of misdirection. So then you start thinking, okay, I got it. I know where this is going. Then we start thinking that it's, what's his name? Stan.
I believe.
That he had done it because, I mean, he fits the MO. And then it's not Stan.
Well, you gotta love, what you gotta love about the scene is these guys who, because that's the thing you gotta remember, every suspect is, because of the dentures, has been in prison.
Yeah, right. They've all been in prison. They all fit kind of the MO. The only ones that didn't, there were a couple of them that they said, okay, it's not these guys. But there was enough of them.
Because one was dead and one was in prison.
Yeah, right.
But I love how they're so happy.
But then Stan becomes number one.
But what I love is what they're so happy. They're like, wait a minute. The teeth marks are what got me here? Or it's like, clink.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the way they saw it, like the one guy when he pulls out the teeth and he's like, look, they don't fit in the case. He had to file them down.
That was weird.
I mean, they really thought they had him. And he's like, nope, you don't.
Where did the writers come up with this?
I don't know. This was a fantastic episode. Well, the director on this was Larry Tang.
He's good.
And he's worked on a lot. He's got a lot of good TV stuff under his belt. He's produced like
that we've covered too.
He did the Suicide Squad episode
of
Hero,
favorites.
which is the one that has Teabag on it that we were just talking about.
No. He wasn't.
Yes, he is.
No.
He's in Clock King becomes part of Suicide Squad. What?
No.
In the comics, he does.
It's not. No, the Suicide Squad is Deadshot, Bronze Tiger, Shrapnel, and who am I? Oh God, wait, am I missing anyone? I think that's it.
But he becomes part of the Suicide Squad later in the comics.
Yeah, but so does Bane. Well,
so on this, he wasn't there. He wasn't in it yet. Oh, okay. Well, regardless, he did the Suicide Squad episode, which is the one even more than the Clock King made me go, oh yeah, there's a Suicide Squad episode. I am in. Plus, he did Warehouse 13, which is a podcast you're just about to start with Dawn.
Yes. Well, starting tomorrow, actually.
Yes. So
last
tune in
season
for that one.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi are idiots, and they're ending it this season.
Yeah, weird. Well, that happens. At least you got more than one season out of it, right?
And they ended it, they had notice.
Yeah, there you go. So they were able to wrap things up. Well, so anyway, you mentioned the writers. I went right to the director, but you mentioned the writers. So one of them was Jason Tracy, who has written a number of Elementary episodes. Man with the Twisted Lip.
That's next week's episode.
He wrote Hound of Cancer Cell, Ears to You. So he's an executive producer on these. I think that he's just involved. Oh wait, maybe he didn't write that, but he's just an executive producer. He's a big name on the show. Plus, he worked on Burn Notice and Justice. I don't know if you ever watched Justice, but right there you can go. Okay, good pedigree. Plus, Robert Doherty, who is the creator of the show, also was a co-writer on this. So I think that's why we got such an exceptional and different take of an episode.
So they eliminate their suspects one by one until they get the gut. They must just, okay, we need someone who looks like a murderer for this headshot. It's like, oh, here we go. Yeah,
right. So I can't remember what happened with Stan. Stan had he had fractured his hand when they were putting the cuffs on, and it turns out he's like Mr. Glass. He has the brittle bone
before
disease,
we find out he's a suspect, they go to the prison and they find out that the dentist used, well, this is how we find out that he actually used Colville's teeth for the dentures. And so that makes the policeman's jobs so freaking hard.
Yeah.
And so Stan wasn't a suspect, he wasn't in the original pool because they didn't even know at first that he was a prisoner. They just thought he was employed until then they had
right, and then they figured out that he was a prisoner, and then it was like, oh wait, there's a 9th guy that got these choppers.
Yeah, then you gotta remember there's that great scene where Holmes goes, "I'll take this side."
Right.
We should do like the world's worst short movie where we, instead of just skipping, we actually show the research.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I know, but
I don't want to see that.
That's the if we can do it right, that could kind of like in Hot Fuzz where you actually see them do the paperwork.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what? No.
Oh, well,
So,
it's been this long. You were due to shoot down at least one of my ideas.
yep, and there it is. So okay. So then they figure out Stan's got this brittle bone. They figure out.
Well, first he ran
right
when he was a suspect, and
right, but then he tells you why.
and it's still. I love how they track him down from. Yeah, but you gotta remember he gets rid of his Twitter, and he was a sex offender, and they shuts down all his social media, and they track him through his dog.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's like you are a terrible liar.
Oh, speaking of that, they used their social media and this to do some of that, but we missed a really funny moment in this when Holmes had the prom dress.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh, was that hilarious?
And he had to sing
And
songs.
he goes, I did the song from Frozen.
No.
And by all reviews.
No. You gotta you remember exactly how he said it. He said, I had to do the songs from something called Frozen. He had no idea what the hell Frozen was.
Oh, right. Something called Frozen.
And apparently I was better than the original. Well, my opinion's overhyped anyways, but back to the show.
Oh, that was really fantastic. Yeah, and there's another one. Give me a web episode with him dressed in the prom dress singing Frozen. Just, I would love to see that and see Watson's look during that because it would be too much.
Okay, this is a weird thing to picture, but I wonder if it would be funny if they specified if he had to wear just the prom dress or over a suit.
Oh, well, he is Holmes, so I'm going to bet the suit was still on. Got to keep it neat and tidy, right?
You hope. Hey, this guy was once married to Angelina Jolie. He can do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, right.
I would put that on business cards if I was Johnny Lear. I'd be like, married to Angelina.
Yeah, formerly married to Angelina Jolie. She carries my blood in a vial. So, okay. So now we've seen it. Like, every time we think we know what's going on, cards get flipped. It's not going on.
Now we get this interesting scene with the guy where he says that he stopped taking the chemical castration because it made him so sick. But the weird thing is, his urges had gone, for whatever reason, had gone away, and that's a really interesting concept.
Right. Yeah, that was interesting. But you know what? He said he was on it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So and he said, I don't know why I'm this way now, but this is where we're at. And Holmes bought into it. I bought into it too. I mean, I think the guy was telling the truth. Well, we obviously know he was at this point. But it didn't seem like a manipulation, which that very easily could have been, misdirection, and it turns out it's him, but it wasn't, definitely.
Yeah, and we thought it was. I mean, this was like the triple blind episode. Like I said, disconnected connections.
Yeah. It reminded me of that last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where it was red herring after red herring after red herring after red herring. And
Don't get me started on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm not getting you started on anything there, Zach. We're talking elementary.
Please
stay on topic. My gosh.
Okay, Kettle.
Right.
God.
That's a sound clip somebody's going to pull out. Me telling somebody to stay on topic.
Yeah, I think is Martha in the back of the room? She probably got a little tape recorder after that little comment.
No, I think she just passed out. So yeah. So now we get to the real crux of what's going on here.
Yeah, because now that the last guy that had the dentures was eliminated, there's no one else. What's the what's the answer? How could there be?
Yeah, I know. And now, as somebody who's way into Holmes and watches this stuff, did you know? Did you? I'll tell you what I thought, but I want to know: did you have any indication that it was Colville's mom?
No idea. I think it was intentional because there was a lot of episodes, and even Elementary has done this sometimes, where they'll be like, it's so obviously this. In fact, I think the last well, no, maybe not, but some episodes are like, yeah, it's obviously him. I mean,
right.
It's like one of three. I mean, especially when it's a very well-known now, of course, this woman is a very well-known actress, but she wasn't in the episode a lot. But usually when they pick a well-known actor, you're like, obviously this person's going to be relevant. I mean, it's freaking... Like, I just watched an episode of Law & Order where the initial suspect was Laura Linney. I'm like, of course she's going to be the killer.
Of course it's going to be her, right. It's an actress that that you're familiar with. Well, although, you know what? I'm going to bring up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
Ugh.
I am. I can't help it because in the last episode, was it the last episode? No, the one before that. they thought they found the clairvoyant. I don't know. Do you remember that
Oh,
episode?
yes, I do.
So yeah, they go into that room, and there's the guy in the wheelchair that they think is the clairvoyant. It's Thomas Nash was his name on the show, but the actor, I recognized him right away, even though he had the makeup on and everything. It was Brad Dourif.
Right, that's who it was.
So you get Brad Dourif in there. I'm totally either that was great misdirection where you're going like the same thing you were saying. It's a well-known actor or a well-known character actor that you may not know his name, but you totally recognize the guy. And I'm thinking, well, then it's got to be him, or he's got to play into this. They shoot him. He never has a line. He's barely even in it. And it makes me wonder, is he really dead? Is he gone? What's the deal there? I know it's not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, but at the same time, it's like it's the same kind of thing. And that was what was happening here, where I'm going, okay, if you know the actor, you know the actress, is it that, or are they doing this? Are they using that to their advantage the way I think they might have on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, it's weird because they didn't do the same way, because in this one, she's barely seen in the episode. She's like
isn't that weird?
Isn't she like in 3-4 scenes total?
Yeah. So yeah, there was that earlier scene with her when it first showed the mom standing out there, and she was saying that her son was unjustly in prison or whatever. And because I recognized her, I did at that point think, okay, somehow she's involved. But then I forgot about it until we saw the scene at the end. But I totally tweaked that, and it was all because of what you said, where when you see somebody who you recognize, you start thinking, okay, if they're guesting, there's no way they're wasting this person. Whereas in this case, they kind of did because she's barely in it. But she's the killer. Yeah. So I thought it was cool when Holmes went out of the room and he found the snap-on dentures in her bathroom. It reminded me of things like when characters go in one room. We were just watching The Killing, and they were looking for this teenager, and the mom's saying, oh, no, he hasn't lived here in years, and he's never around. And they go in the other room, and there's a bowl of cereal. And they're like, okay, so he hasn't been around. You a big fan of Fruity Pebbles? It was really obvious that this teenager had just been there. And it reminded me of that. Like, I thought, okay, they're going to walk out and somehow this guy's alive or something, or she's, harboring somebody that has this. But no, it was her. It was her. What a crazy story.
I don't know if that works, though, because remember before we were having the other guy, like, the reason they find out he's not the killer is because his wrist was sprained just from being in handcuffs or just being arrested. He's got osteoporosis as a side effect of his the drugs he was on. And so she says the killer was pushed up against the wall. It's like this old woman got slammed against the wall and she's fine. I know what they said it was some time ago, but still, it's like she looked. I mean, I watched the episode again, seeing if her arm was like in a sling or nothing, or limping. I'm like, no.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? Regardless, this episode did keep me off balance. It did keep me guessing. Yeah. And I just had a lot of fun with it.
And don't forget, as we're going through this, we still got watching the side story. And I like how Holmes the whole time is like, you are feeling guilty when you didn't do anything.
Right. Right. And she really didn't. Although, at the beginning of the episode, it was kind of implying that she did.
Yeah. But all she did was she had a thought that everyone in the world would be like, yeah.
Right. And she said, I can't really say anything about this. I can't I can't say this to this guy. That's like career suicide at this point. So unless she had, firm evidence, she just had to let it play out. And I'm assuming that he did let this guy go. I am really assuming that what we saw happen is what we interpret happened. But there is that seed of doubt that, he still claimed at the end, yeah, he confessed to me, but no, I did not let him die.
When I first heard the confession, I thought maybe he was lying, or I thought maybe somehow he was involved for like half a second.
Yeah, me too. But you know what? I think that that's the end of that story. And I think that we'll just kind of be left with that, like, well, there's a chance that guy did do that, or he's telling the truth. But as far as Watson is concerned, I think that she now can let it rest as far as her involvement.
Yeah, but I like how like Holmes is. She's like, no, I'm not harping on it. I'm looking at a news report involved with our case.
Right. Yeah. No, this was just an excellent episode. I was really into it. I will say that my favorite line in the whole episode happened at the very end when Joan says to Sherlock, "The Colvilles are such a lovely family." I thought that was hilarious writing.
Well, I thought the line was a bit of a throwaway, but it was all right.
What? You didn't think that? I thought that was really funny it was a bit of a throwaway, but it was very funny writing. Not a big fan, huh, Zach?
Okay, now, one thing we got to talk about this show, that is Watson ever going to be allowed to wake up normal? First Holmes wakes up, and then
love that.
And then Clyde wakes her up wearing that cute little hat.
Yeah, no, she is never going to be allowed to wake up normal until she's out of that loony bin.
Oh, something I forgot to mention. That was referenced. Mrs. Hudson was referenced in this episode.
Okay, where I didn't catch that.
It's not surprising you missed it. It was literally one line of dialogue.
Okay.
It was
what was said. Where was it?
It was when he was talking about the treasure hunt, and he's looking at his books. Apparently, Mrs. Hudson is still their housekeeper.
Really?
He said, "Mrs. Hudson rearranged my books."
Huh. Oh, now that you're saying it, I faintly remember that.
Now, the writers tweeted, "This is not just a throwaway. They said she's coming back."
Interesting. Wow, good catch, Zach. Now, did you catch it when you were watching it, or did you catch it after the fact?
Well, I've catched it when I was watching it, because I'm a big fan of the... Because, Rob, you might not know this, what's interesting about the character Mrs. Hudson, she's transsexual.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
what? Is she on the show or in the Sherlock Holmes books?
No, on the show, she's on
the show, not always, just on the show.
Yeah, wait, what? Are you asking if the character's transsexual in the books?
I didn't know.
Rob, a book written in Victorian England is not going to have a transsexual character.
You never know.
Oh, I do know. Come on.
You never know, man.
Not a pop. At least the Queen would have put a stop to the book, probably.
Yeah, but it could be one of those things like Dumbledore. You know how it's not really written in the book.
Yeah, but that's stupid.
In later,
that was stupid when she did that. Oh, by the way, everything you love about the book, I wish I could change. It's like what?
Yeah, revisionist. She needs to stop hanging out with George Lucas.
Oh God, I know, right? Wait, I gotta come back. Wait a minute, I gotta rewrite a scene for the next movie where I, for some reason, have two teenagers naked in a swirling dust of clouds. Like what?
Right.
I walk. What?
Yeah, weird.
But Mrs. Hudson and the actor playing Mrs. Hudson is actually, she is one of the few transsexual to be featured. Usually it's a man just playing a woman playing a man, but she is a real transsexual woman.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, you know what? I know that she was on the show. I just haven't seen an episode with her yet.
It was last season.
Interesting. Yeah. So, okay, great. Well, great. So she's coming back, and we're going to get some kind of story element. That's really cool.
I've said many times I thought it'd be really interesting if Holmes hooked up with her.
I don't know if that would happen on here.
Because Holmes wouldn't care that she's transsexual.
No, he wouldn't. But this portrayal of Holmes, I don't know if he's...
Well, he's used sex as just especially with what was happening with Irene Adler, he withdraws even himself, and he views sex as just a purely physical thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what happens.
The thing about when they catch the mother, it's like she seemed like that was under my bed. I'm like, what? She forget where it was? Hey, look, it's that incriminating evidence that I have no reason to keep anymore.
I didn't say the ending was solid. I just said it kept me off kilter.
No, but
was funny.
Now, when you really look, although, like I said, she killed two people. What?
Right. It's like Marie from Everybody Loves Raymond turning out to be the killer.
Well, I can believe that. She was a bitch on that show.
Yeah, but she's not going around killing people that easily.
Now, but they saying she's pretending, but that's the thing. She pretended to be weak, but what is she really super strong? Because they said they really went to town on those people.
Maybe they are bleeding this with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe she's got the serum in her.
That doesn't make him super strong.
True.
Don't try to get fact checks wrong with a Marvel geek, man. I will call you on it.
There you go.
No, but what I like about this episode is I think some shows have done it before, but this one, it's like the killer was the red herring.
Right.
It's like
totally.
It's like, oh, he can't. I mean, obviously, if he's innocent, but no, he did it.
Yeah, right. He told the guy that you thought did it through the whole time. But then the mother was using this opportunity.
I think one thing, the only thing I really I don't want to say, I think they should have made it more clear that there were other cases. It's like they kind of forgot about that during this episode.
Yeah, well, it seemed like maybe that story, that element of the story was bigger than what they had time to really pull off.
That's what it felt like.
Things. Like maybe if they had left out a little bit of Watson's story, or
Yeah.
I don't know. But how do you can't really cut that. You can't cut that awesome beginning.
Yeah.
Because that would be the first thing. That's the fat that you trim. Is that beginning? Because it was almost unnecessary because it was just leading nowhere. It's just misdirection. But how do you get rid of that? You don't.
Now, I think we've delved into this episode pretty good.
I think we have delved in pretty well. I think we're done with this one. Let's put a fork in it. Let me just do a little bit of the business here. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, as we've mentioned before. What is it? Baker Street Pod, at Baker Street Pod, and also I'm at R Southgate. Zach, do you have a Twitter, or do you just use the...
I do indeed, and I
Twitter?
have fixed my name. My name used to be Inch of Madness because my old show was Inch from Insanity, and Inch from Insanity is too long for a Twitter name. But now my Twitter handle is indeed WolfSpirit00, which is much more fitting.
Nice. And you can also find us on our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com, where you can also find all these other shows that we've mentioned. And from there, you can also find the new Warehouse 13 show, which is called
Endless Wonder.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that's it. Zach, you want to take us home?
Mm-hmm. Now, for all of us here at the Baker Street Podcast, we must depart, for the game is afoot.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.